here's another little kind of hint as what was happening that we didn't notice. So these top two lines, this is Case-Shiller house price index for the Case-Shiller 10 cities, which includes all the closed access cities. This is the Case-Shiller national average. Those are indexes that just measure existing home prices. So we can see here that the bulk of the problem is closed access prices. And we can see, and then this orange area is new home prices. So what we see is new home prices were fairly moderate. They didn't have the big boom in 2004 and 2005 that existing houses did. Now, at the time, our explanation for this was, well, all these subprime loans, right? We're giving a bunch of loans to a bunch of low-income households that are homeowners for the first time. So this is probably just, a market that's feeding that frenzy. But that didn't happen. I don't have time to get into the details of that today. That did not happen. There was not an increase in mortgaged homeownership among low-income people. In fact, during the bubble, the average homeowner, if anything, slightly higher income on average than they had in the years previous. There's nowhere in the national data where you see any shift toward lower income homeownership. So ironically, what this is, think about you've got a localized supply problem, and that's causing high prices. That's really the only thing that can cause persistently high prices, like what we've seen, right? So if that's your problem, what is a rise in housing starts signaling to us? We thought that meant that was part of this frenzy of people buying too much house, buying more house than they could possibly manage to own, right? But the only way you could actually get an increase in housing starts in that context is through people trying to moderate their housing expenses. Because the only place you can build a house is a place where it's affordable. If you can build a house there, it's affordable. The places where you can't build houses aren't affordable. So actually, this surge of housing starts that brought us a little bit above trend was actually, ironically, counterintuitively, was this process of households moderating their housing consumption in real terms. Now, one way to think about it, this misleads us in so many ways, right? One way to think about it is, that couple in a condo in San Francisco, little 1,000-square-foot condo, they're spending $4,000 a month, right? And a new whiz kid moves into town, gets his job with Google, bids up the rent, they're the next marginal couple to leave town, right? So what do? Well, they say, we can't take it anymore. We can get a job in Atlanta. We move there. We have to take a cut in pay, but we can build this 3,500 square foot house, get a pool in the backyard, and it's only going to be $2,000 a month. That family is, through relocation, is lowering their real housing expenses. It doesn't look like it. There's an awful lot of lumber. There's an awful lot of gypsum board going to Atlanta, right? So residential investment's really high. So this moderation in real housing consumption is actually driving residential investment. And it's because we can't build the unit in San Francisco where it would take half the gypsum board to make a unit that's 4 times more valuable, right? So ironically, this surge was a signal of the fleeing. It really could be nothing else.